careful. Akpabio, be careful. Akpabio, be careful.
From the Senate, your point of order is sustained.
Order, please.
Nice to speak from there. That is the order of the Senate.
Sir, order 10 on privileges.
Asha,
Any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice. A motion declaring that the content of breach of privilege has been
announced suspension immediately.
Or refer.
God have mercy upon us.
When I saw this video, when the 𝗔𝗸𝗀𝗃 was escorted out of the Senate floor, I came back online instantly. I was the only voice. I was begging people to join and support Senator Natasha. I don't even know her. As a man that protects and defends individual rights, a freedom fighter has stood fair, firm, and consistent. But today, everyone is talking about it. Nobody knows how it all started. Watch.
President, distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, and I stand to raise a petition under Order 40. A petition may only be presented to the Senate by a senator who shall affix his or her name at the beginning thereof. The petition is in my name against the President of the Nigerian Senate, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, for sexual harassment, abuse of office, and malicious obstruction of my legislative functions. You may recall, sir, that on Friday in Arise TV, I did make some statements. And I have decided to narrow these statements in a formal petition against the President of this Senate. So if it may please you, I would humbly step forward and lay this petition.
You may proceed.
Akpabio, be careful. Akpabio, be careful. Akpabio, be careful.
God have mercy upon us.
Kasongo yeye Mombali nanga Kasongo mbona wewe Songa libala oh yeye Kasongo mbona wewe Kasongo yeye Mombali nanga Kasongo mbona wewe Songa libala oh yeye.
Distinguished colleagues, this petition is hereby referred to the Committee on Code of Conduct, Ethics and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate as soon as practicable.
Meanwhile, after this, don't forget, Senator Godswill Akpabio have already said it from day one when she tried to speak. When Akpabio did not know that the mic was on.
Order, please.
Nice to speak from there. That is the order of the Senate.
Sir, order 10 on privileges.
Asha,
Any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice.
Just listen, and you will hear when he said it.
A breach of privilege has been
announced suspension immediately.
He already said that she should be suspended. So it's automatic. And let me bring a video where Akpabio did the same thing when he was not the Senate President. Bukola Saraki was the Senate President then. Watch this video first.
An old video surfaced online showing the then Senator Godswill Akpabio flouting the Senate standing order under the Saraki-led Senate. In the video, Akpabio insisted on speaking even while he was not permitted to speak by the then Senate President Bukola Saraki. Let's take a look.
You can go to your seat, then when you get your seat, I will recognize you.
next to Senator 𝗏𝗏𝗀 until I was led by the sergeant at arms that this is my seat.
I asked the clerk. I asked the clerk whether he allocated that seat to you. He said he didn't.
He told me he would prefer to sit here. So I said there is no microphone there. But
when it happened to Natasha, this useless do-nothing senator, Senator 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏, representing Edo South, he has done nothing for the good people that he's representing. He went ahead and gave automatic suspension to Senator Natasha. You can see that it was double standard because she did not give him what he wants.
That the petition she presented today is actually dead on arrival. And I say that because it runs contrary to Order 40, subsection 4, that a senator, no senator may present to the Senate a petition signed by him or herself. And that petition having been signed by her will not be entertained by this committee.
Atenga, whoever gave you this idea, it's not a good idea.
After this kangaroo suspension against Senator Natasha, she have no choice just to cut it short. She have no choice but to cry to international community. I remember when I did a video, as of the second day, I urged her to cry to Me Too movement in United States. Cry to the international community. And she did it today. Thank God Almighty. Watch the video.
I come with a heavy heart from Nigeria. But first, I'd like to apologize to Honorable 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏. I am not here to bring shame to our country. I'm here to seek help for the women of Nigeria. Again, my name is Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. 5 days ago, on the 6th of March 2025, I was suspended. As a senator, I was suspended illegally because I submitted a petition of sexual harassment against the President of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio. I thought that by submitting the petition, he would recuse himself, and both of us will submit ourselves to the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition for a fair and transparent investigation. But unfortunately, I was silenced and I was suspended. I was suspended for 6 months, amongst many other stringent conditions, such as taking away my security, taking away all the officials, vehicles, and other items that were handed over to me as a senator. My salaries will be cut off. I must not appear anywhere near the National Assembly. And for 6 months, I'm not to introduce myself or present myself as a senator locally in Nigeria or internationally. That means I'm here illegally, but I have no other place to go but to come here and speak to you women, because this is a bigger picture. This is a bigger picture. It depicts the crisis of women political representation. My suspension is not just about me. It's about the systemic exclusion of women from political leadership in Nigeria. Women make up 3.6% of political offices. And in the Senate, it's just 2.8. We have 109 men and only 4 of us are women. So right now, it's 108 with only 3 women. This is a clear case of political victimization, punishment for speaking out against impunity, corruption, and gender-based violence. The United Nations Declaration 48/104 declares sexual harassment as a form of gender violence. The Senate's actions are an assault on democracy. I was elected by my constituents to represent them. Yet a few powerful men have unilaterally decided to silence their voices by suspending me for 6 months. My call for an open and transparent investigation into harassment allegations have been met with hostility instead of accountability. If a female senator can be treated this way in the full view of the world, imagine what ordinary Nigerian women will go through every day in workplaces,
in universities, and other aspects of our society. A culture of harassment and silencing must end. And this is not just a Nigerian issue, it is a global one. Women in politics, media, and businesses face threats, intimidation, and violence for simply demanding fairness. From sex for grades scandals in universities to harassment in workplaces and political spaces, Nigerian women have constantly been forced into silence.
Akpabio, be careful.
Nobody makes any payment in NDDC without Godswill Akpabio's approval. When we first came to NDDC, on the day of going for the inauguration, he told me in the car that, Madam MD, if you don't do what I say, the same pen with which I used to sign your letter, it will be the same pen that I will use to remove you. He said the first thing I should do when I get to Port Harcourt is to change the dollars in the NDDC account. I was scared to do that. After that, he came to Port Harcourt 2 days after the inauguration. He said the first thing I should do is to make sure I change the dollars. I should remove Mr. Kaltungo from being legal and send him on compulsory retirement, that we cannot have a northerner be the head of the legal team, of the legal unit. He said I should remove all the other directors that refused to take his instruction during the time of Mrs. Agwagaga. That was the predecessor before I came. So he came also with a draft, which I've submitted, with a draft letter that I should write and put it on my letterhead, implicating Senator 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 for collecting contracts in NDDC. I told him that I will not, I'm a lawyer, and that whoever alleges must prove. The fact that Senator 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is giving us trouble as IMC, you remember also that they did not recognize the IMC. I said, I will not do that letter. He said I was ungrateful and I refused to do the letter. Dr. Cairo now said that he will do the letter. If Akpabio tells him to kill, he will kill before he asks, why did he kill? I said, for me, I will not do the letter. At that place, there was Mr. 𝗔𝗶𝗵𝗏, who was the only staff of the NDDC that was present at that meeting. When he finished, he now asked Dr. Cairo to go and send for the letter-headed paper from the office. They now sent for the letter-headed paper. Dr. Cairo now did the letter, which I've also submitted to the committee, alleging that Senator 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 had contracts. Then he said, I must sign the cover letter. I said, if I sign any document from me seen by Mr. President, he will believe every line of it. So I will only write that the EDP, who should know about projects, has gone. The next thing that he told me, he said, I must make sure that all these people leave and that the procurement, because apparently Akpabio, before I came, when himself and Festus Keyamo were ministers, their first meeting at the commission, he was awarded 30 contracts for distilling and water hyacinth. Mr. Linus, who was the director finance, refused to sign because it did not follow due process. He also said that I should implicate the chairman the House Committee, because the chairman of the House Committee had gone to Ondo State for a meeting to plan against him. 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 and 𝗔𝗸𝗫𝗀. They said that the budget for 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 and 𝗔𝗸𝗫𝗀 was, I think, for about 3 to 5 billion. I'm not sure exactly how much. But that the NDDC, before I came, had overstretched itself to about 50 billion for 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 and 𝗔𝗸𝗫𝗀. And so the National Assembly had written us, they have it also, they had written us that we should not pay for anything like that. He said, and guess what? Akpabio never signs any documents. He will always refuse to sign, but he will tell you to go and commit the fraud. For instance, he told me to go and raise a memo and give an emergency contract for flood victims. He wanted me to take an oath. He has denied that, but I want to say today, he told me up to 3 times until we had a reconciliation meeting at the villa in the house of Mr. Sarki Abba, who is the SA to the President on Domestics. In that meeting was Alhaji Mekano. He said the only condition was if I take the oath. I refused to take the oath, and I did not take that oath. And I will never take the oath from him. So he said he was going to remove me. He started a campaign of calumny against me. He said I did not answer him because the facts will speak for itself. Now, to end this matter about the procurement process, I refused to go with him to deceive Mr. President at the FEC meeting because the Procurement Act says if I contravene any section of the Procurement Act, it's 5 years imprisonment without an option of fine. So if I go and say they should pay for the process, if you see, they say it's for 2020 budget. Akpabio went to get the approval from FEC. The 2020 budget has not even been discussed by the National Assembly till today. The 2020 budget has not been passed. However, he lied to FEC, which is the greatest embarrassment in this country, for a budget that has not been passed, for an approval to be given for that procurement. I refused to go because he wanted me to send the money for the procurement to the ministry to implement the forensic audit. I refused. I am challenging him to deny any of these allegations because I have to round up for you people. But all the facts and all that I've said are all written in my document.
Hello everybody out there. Hope everybody's having a nice, blessed day. I just want to thank you guys for all the love and support that you've shown us throughout the years for these videos. We really work hard getting them out to you guys. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe to all of our social media platforms. We really appreciate you.